Indiana Fever defeated the New York Liberty 102-88, ending their undefeated streak to start the season. This was a huge game. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham made their return to the Indiana Fever, and a lot of fans had been worried about the Indiana Fever because they haven't been playing great over the past few weeks. They have lost some games that they shouldn't have lost. They are sitting at 500 on the season, but obviously going into the season, a lot of us were anticipating the Fever to be a very dominant team, and it just felt like they hadn't clicked.
Following Indiana Fever's significant victory over New York Liberty, Caitlin Clark made notable comments regarding team playing style that have generated discussion about coaching strategy and offensive philosophy. Her post-game remarks suggested strong preferences for how the Fever should approach basketball competition moving forward. Clark's statement that the victory demonstrated how the Fever are supposed to play basketball indicated clear opinions about optimal team strategy and execution. While not explicitly criticizing coaching decisions, her comments suggested indirect commentary on tactical approaches employed during her injury absence.
But boy, did so much of that change last night. So let's talk about Caitlin Clark. The thing that impresses me most about her is her ability to step up in big moments. When the bright lights are on, Caitlin Clark is also on. She went off last night for 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 7 3-pointers. Now, you guys, she had been out for over 2 weeks with a
The context surrounding her remarks involved specific game situations where Indiana attempted to control pace through slower offensive execution. Late in the game with a substantial lead, the team appeared to prioritize clock management over continued aggressive offensive attack, which resulted in reduced effectiveness and momentum shifts. LeBron James acknowledged Clark's impact through social media, referencing the Caitlin Clark effect and expressing appreciation for her return to competition. Such recognition from elite NBA players reinforces her influence on basketball entertainment and competitive dynamics across professional leagues.
Quad injury, and some were wondering if she was going to have minutes restrictions, how much she was going to be playing, if she was going to be up to full speed, and she clearly was. There was a point during the game where she had 3 3-pointers in 38 seconds, and these weren't just regular old 3-pointers. These were her signature logo threes from feet behind the 3-point line.
It's literally when she crosses half court, she can shoot that shit. Yeah.
And there was a really funny point in the game where Caitlin Clark actually hit a 3-pointer.
Clark's comments align with observable team performance patterns that suggest optimal success occurs when Indiana maintains aggressive offensive tempo rather than attempting to control games through conservative approaches. The victory represented only the second significant win over quality opposition in 2 years. Excluding matchups against Chicago Sky, the fundamental disagreement appears centered on distinguishing between genuine tempo control and simple pace reduction. Clark's perspective emphasizes the importance of maintaining decision-making speed and forward momentum rather than merely slowing down offensive execution.
On Brianna Stewart, and all she could really do was smile and laugh. Like, there's this funny interaction between the both of them where they're running back down the court, because what do you do at that point? How much better defense can you play on Caitlin Clark if she is on fire like that? And she was clearly feeling it. She was in the groove, and when she hit this span of those 3 3-pointers in that 38 seconds, like I mentioned, that was a time when the Indiana Fever were down by more than 10 points to the New York Liberty.
Reference to the Phoenix Suns' 7 seconds or less system provides relevant context for understanding effective tempo basketball. That system succeeded not through pure speed, but through consistent forward movement, quick decision-making, and maintained offensive pressure regardless of actual sprint speed. Steve Nash's leadership of that Phoenix system demonstrated how relatively slow individual players could generate fast team offense through intelligent decision-making and constant forward progression. The principle involves eliminating hesitation and maintaining offensive flow rather than focusing on pure athletic speed.
That was such a huge spark for the Fever, for the fans. The arena lit up. And that's what I mean when I say that she is ready for the moment. She steps up in those big moments. It seems like she plays better when the pressure's on, when the bright lights are on. That's why I also get so annoyed when people still won't believe the hype, or they say the hype around Caitlin Clark is just hype. Like, no, she is an incredible basketball player. She does things on the court that we have not seen in the women's game.
Indiana's current approach sometimes involves excessive pick-and-roll reliance that slows natural offensive rhythm. Clark's preference appears to favor more dynamic offensive movement that maintains pressure on opposing defenses while creating multiple scoring opportunities. Clark's philosophy acknowledges inevitable defensive compromises that accompany aggressive offensive tempo. Her willingness to accept potentially poor defensive ratings in exchange for consistent offensive effectiveness represents a pragmatic approach to team construction and strategic planning.
And the closest thing that we have seen with the style of play that Caitlin plays is somebody like a Steph Curry. And he was somebody who electrified the NBA. If you remember in the 2016, 17, 18, 19 seasons, and Steph Curry still does wild stuff on the court, but that is like the closest comparison that I can make to an NBA player, to Caitlin Clark. Like, she is so box office. She is so exciting to watch. So when millions and millions of people
The argument suggests that forcing opponents to match Indiana's preferred pace creates advantages that outweigh defensive vulnerabilities. When teams successfully impose their playing style on opposition, they typically achieve better results than attempting to match opponent preferences. Fast break statistics provide limited insight into true tempo effectiveness due to WNBA scoring classification methods. Traditional fast break measurements primarily count live ball turnovers rather than comprehensive pace metrics, making statistical analysis incomplete for evaluating tempo impact.
Are tuning in to watch her play, they're watching her play because of the basketball, and she continues to prove her worth on the court every single time she steps on the court. And with that, she had a huge impact on elevating her entire team yesterday. We did see the Indiana Fever playing much faster than they have been playing to start the season. And I think that's for two reasons. I think one is because Caitlin Clark is back in the mix, and
Indiana's success against Liberty occurred partly because they forced New York to play up-tempo basketball rather than their preferred controlled approach. While Liberty achieved some success matching Indiana's pace, the Fever demonstrated superior execution within their preferred system. The victory over Liberty represented significant achievement given Indiana's limited success against quality opposition over recent seasons. Their primary consistent success had come against Chicago Sky, making the Liberty victory particularly meaningful for team confidence and strategic validation.
And other teams have to defend the Indiana Fever differently when Caitlin Clark is on the floor. And she just creates so much space on the floor because wherever she's at, that defender has to be on her. So it honestly just opens up the floor for the rest of her players, and it makes it so other players can get wide open three-pointers. It doesn't seem so crammed. Aaliyah Boston can get her touches as well. Kelsey Mitchell is able to create her shot because she has more space because there's not as much help side defense on her. So I think that's one reason that the team was able to play faster, get the ball moving around. But I also think the New York Liberty
Clark's individual performance included multiple highlight moments while demonstrating her ability to impact games through various offensive contributions. Her comprehensive skill set becomes most effective when operating within systems that maximize her decision-making freedom and creative opportunities. The game featured moments where conservative strategy nearly compromised Indiana's substantial lead, reinforcing arguments for maintaining aggressive approaches regardless of score margins. Clark's preference for extending leads rather than protecting them reflects confidence in team offensive capabilities.
Also play a quick style of basketball, and the Indiana Fever just held pace with them. Honestly, you guys, the New York Liberty are probably one of the top 3 teams that I enjoy watching play. They play a great brand of basketball, and I also love some of the players on their team. Like, they are super exciting, to watch. So when the Liberty and the Fever match up, like, this is money.
Statistical achievements during the game contributed to ongoing MVP discussions, while demonstrating Clark's ability to perform at elite levels immediately following extended injury absence. Her consistency suggests sustainable excellence that supports arguments for continued aggressive offensive strategy. The implied tension between coaching approach and player preferences reflects broader questions about optimal utilization of exceptional talent. Clark's unique abilities may require modified strategic approaches that differ from traditional basketball wisdom regarding game management.
Guys, any of you guys hear Caitlin Clark? Did any of you guys hear Caitlin Clark after the game? I'm going to see if I can get the clip. I'm going to see if I can get the clip right here. And this sums it all up. This sums it all up. Sums it all up. Caitlin Clark, by the way, came out and just dominated. Caitlin Clark, LeBron James is out here saying the Caitlin Clark effect. Welcome back, you were missed. And Caitlin Clark comes out. There's no clip, but enough people have tweeted it. Enough people have tweeted it. But Caitlin Clark.
Effective coaching involves balancing individual players' strengths with team needs, while maintaining strategic flexibility based on game situations. Clark's comments suggest preference for systems that emphasize her creative decision-making rather than restricting her within predetermined structures. The comparison between control and slowness highlights important distinctions in basketball strategy. True control involves dictating pace and style while maintaining offensive effectiveness, rather than simply reducing tempo to limit possessions.
That's how the Fever are supposed to play basketball. That's how they're supposed to play basketball. I agree. I agree. You heard in the ESPN interview. I agree. And that sounds like that's obviously, look, I don't think it's a direct shot at the coach, but it's an indirect shot at their coach. It's an indirect shot at their coach. I think that's
Clark's franchise value extends beyond pure basketball contributions to encompass marketing appeal and audience attraction. Her preferences regarding playing style become particularly relevant when considering long-term team building and organizational success. Clark's championship expectations suggest confidence in current roster construction when operating within preferred strategic frameworks. Her belief in championship potential reinforces arguments for building systems around her strengths rather than forcing adaptation to predetermined approaches. The economic implications of Clark's presence create additional pressure for optimizing her utilization. Her ability to generate substantial franchise value increases importance of strategic decisions that maximize both individual and team success. Trade scenarios referenced in discussions emphasize Clark's exceptional value while highlighting the importance of proper utilization. Organizations possessing generational talent must adapt systems to optimize that talent rather than expecting conformity to existing structures. Long-term strategic planning must consider Clark's preferences and optimal utilization methods to maintain her effectiveness and satisfaction. Her comments suggest clear understanding of systems that maximize her impact and team success potential. The relationship between coaching strategy and star player preferences requires careful management to maintain team chemistry while optimizing performance. Clark's comments suggest desire for greater strategic alignment with her basketball philosophy and competitive approach. Successful organizations typically build systems around exceptional talent rather than forcing adaptation to predetermined structures. Clark's unique abilities may require modified approaches that differ from conventional basketball wisdom regarding tempo and game management. The balance between individual preferences and team needs becomes particularly important when managing generational talent with proven ability to impact franchise success. Clark's demonstrated value suggests her strategic input deserves significant consideration in organizational planning. Future coaching decisions will likely need to incorporate Clark's preferences while maintaining team structure and defensive responsibility. Her willingness to accept defensive trade-offs for offensive effectiveness provides framework for strategic discussions and tactical adjustments.
let me do me, because I mean this when I say this. They had a layup to go up 16 points. And they literally stopped they stopped running. They started slowing it down. They tried to dribble out the clock, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. By the way, this was the second biggest. I think this is the second biggest win.
The Indiana Fever achieved a significant 102-88 victory over the New York Liberty, ending their opponent's perfect season start while demonstrating dramatic improvement in offensive execution and competitive performance. This comprehensive analysis examines key factors contributing to the competitive outcome. Caitlin Clark's return from injury produced remarkable statistical achievements, including 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 7 successful three-point attempts. Her performance demonstrated exceptional ability to excel well during high-pressure competitive situations against elite opposition. Clark's most notable sequence involved converting 3 consecutive three-point attempts within a 38-second time frame, all from logo distance significantly beyond traditional three-point range. This unprecedented scoring burst occurred while the Fever trailed by double digits, showcasing clutch performance capabilities. The extended shooting range forced defensive adjustments and created psychological advantages throughout the contest. Clark's ability to attempt shots immediately upon crossing half-court eliminated traditional safe zones for defensive players and coaching schemes. After missing over 2 weeks due to quad injury, questions existed regarding potential minutes restrictions and physical conditioning. Clark's comprehensive performance eliminated these concerns while demonstrating complete readiness for competitive action. Clark's presence fundamentally altered defensive requirements for the opposition, creating enhanced spacing opportunities for teammates across all positions. Defenders must provide immediate coverage upon Clark crossing half-court, opening interior and perimeter opportunities for supporting players. The extended defensive attention allowed Aaliyah Boston increased post touches while providing Kelsey Mitchell additional space for shot creation without excessive help defense pressure. This cascading effect enhanced overall offensive efficiency and ball movement. The improved floor spacing contributed to faster offensive tempo and enhanced ball circulation compared to recent performances without Clark's participation. Team pace increased significantly, creating additional transition opportunities and offensive possession. The victory carries additional significance given the Liberty's previously perfect record and reputation as elite competition. Defeating undefeated opposition validates organizational progress and strategic implementation effectiveness. The New York Liberty represents one of the league's most entertaining teams, featuring dynamic offensive systems and talented individual performers. Their fast-paced style created an engaging competitive environment that showcased both organizations' capability.
That they've had, or it was the biggest win they've had that it wasn't against the Sky in 2 years. It is only the Sky that this team has been able to comfortably beat over the last 2 years. But you've now got Caitlin Clark saying this is how we're supposed to play. And I agree with that. I fully agree with that. The WNBA single game record is 9, held by Ryan Howard. Arike, by the way, Arike did it against the Fever. And the Fever still won.
The matchup quality suggests potential for developing meaningful rivalry dynamics that could enhance league marketing and fan engagement compared to less competitive regular opponents. The Fever demonstrated adaptability by matching the Liberty's fast-paced style, maintaining competitive tempo throughout the contest. However, this adaptability has previously created issues when facing slower-paced opponents who employ different strategic approaches. Previous matchups against teams like Atlanta Dream have shown the Fever adopting their opponent's slower pace rather than maintaining their preferred up-tempo identity. This adaptability represents both strategic flexibility and potential weakness. Establishing consistent strategic identity regardless of opponent approach could enhance performance reliability and competitive consistency throughout varied matchup scenarios and different competitive styles. The starting lineup featured Clark, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard. However, late-game adjustments emphasized Sophie Cunningham at the 4 position with significant impact. Cunningham's statistical output included modest scoring, 5 points, 4 rebounds, but exceptional efficiency reflected through a +31 rating in 25 minutes of action. Her positive impact occurred primarily during crucial late-game sequences. Dana Bonner's absence due to personal reasons created opportunities for alternative lineup configurations. The potential starting 5 of Clark, Mitchell, Hull, Cunningham, and Boston represents a smaller but faster unit capable of enhanced tempo basketball. The smaller lineup sacrifices interior size and strength, but gains speed and versatility that could maximize the team's undersized advantage through superior conditioning and pace management.